Okay, so today we will discuss about the drying. This is one of the most important chapter of the post-harvest technology. Okay, so in this topic we will discuss about the what is the drying, what are the definition of drying, and why the drying is most important. We will discuss about importance of this drying. And also we will see the how the moisture evaporate from the grain to the atmosphere, means moisture migration during drying process. And also we will discuss about the representation of the moisture content. Okay, because when you dry any grain surface, then what happens? The moisture will be decreased. Moisture will remove from the grain. Okay, so how you can represent that moisture in mathematical form. So we will discuss about this, and also we will consider one problem related to this moisture content, and how the moisture content is determined by the direct method as well as by the indirect methods. Okay, so all these things we will discuss here. For this topic, you can refer these books. Now the drying. There are two terms. One is the drying and other one is the dehydration. Okay. In the both term, drying as well as in the dehydration, we remove the water or we remove the moisture. But what is the difference between dehydration and drying? Dehydration means this is the removal of moisture from grain to very low level, usually to bone dry condition. Okay, so that is the dehydration. But in the drying, what we do? In the drying, we remove the moisture from the grain and other products to a predetermined level, which provide a safe level to store the grain for longer time period. Okay, so that is the basic difference between the drying and dehydration. In the dehydration, we remove the moisture from the grain to a very low level, up to the bone dry condition. Means after that, not any moisture is present in that object or that grain. Okay, that is known as the bone dry condition. But in the drying process, we do not completely remove the moisture. We remove the moisture up to a certain limit. Okay, because if you remove all the moisture, then its quality will be deteriorate. Okay, so we have to maintain the quality of the grain. So that's why we do not remove all the moisture during the drying process. We remove the moisture up to a predetermined level, which provides a safe level to store the grain for longer time periods. Okay, so this predetermined level of moisture removal retain the nutritional quality of the food. Okay. Otherwise, over drying may deteriorate the nutritional composition of food materials. Okay. That's why this is the reason why in the drying process we remove the moisture up to a certain limit. We can't remove the all the moisture present in the grain. Okay. So this is the difference between the drying and dehydration. Now, drying is one of the oldest method of food preservation. This is a thermophysical and physiochemical operation by which the excess moisture from a product is removed. Okay. So, drying makes the food grain and other product suitable for safer storage and protect them against attack of insect, mold, and other microorganisms during the storage. Now, how the moisture migrate from the inner surface of the grain to the outer surface. Yeah. So during the drying, heat flow over the product because we dry the product to the heat. So that heat flow over the product and goes into the product. That heat increases the temperature of the product and moisture, which convert the moisture into the water vapor. Okay, that will convert the moisture present in the product into the water vapor, which results into increase in the vapor pressure that moves moisture towards the surface. Okay, so that moisture due to this heat will come to the surface from the inner part, and from the surface it will evaporate into the atmosphere. So, so here hot air delivers two types of heat to the product. First is the sensible heat and second is the latent heat. Okay. When you heat any grain material, then that heat delivers two types of heat. First is the sensible heat and other one is the latent heat. Okay. So sensible heat means when there is a sensible heat, then temperature of any particulate will increase. Okay. If you heat any substance, then the temperature of that substance will be increased. But in the latent heat, if you give the heat, if you supply the heat, then temperature will not increase. Its form will increase, or it the substance will change its form. Okay, when you supply the heat. So that is the difference between sensible heat and latent heat. Sensible, we sense the heat, and latent means gupt. In Hindi, it is called as the gupt usma. Okay, चुपके चुपके heat सब्सटेंस को चेंज कर देगा. दैट इज द लेटेंट हीट. जैसे बर्फ से पानी बनना, बर्फ से पानी जब बनता है तो टेम्परेचर सिर्फ कांस्टेंट रहता है 100 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड. ओके, temperature is not changed. Yes, we give the heat, but temperature is not changing at that point. So that heat, that much amount of heat which we are giving to changing its position, changing its state, is known as the latent heat. गुप्त उष्मा, गुप्त तरीके से उसको हम दे रहे हैं. And sensible heat, when you supply the heat to the product, then its temperature will increase. But the temperature will not increase in latent heat. Okay. So this hot air, when you give the hot air to the product, then two type of heat will deliver to the product. First is the sensible heat. Sensible heat to raise the temperature of the water means moisture. Water means moisture. So to raise the temperature of water within the food products. Okay. And after that, the latent heat of vaporization to convert that moisture into the water vapor. Okay. So in this way, the moisture migrates from the inner surface to the outer surface, and from the outer surface it will evaporate. Okay. So this is the moisture migration during drying process. So here we have seen the drying and how the moisture is migrated from its inner surface to the outer surface. Now we will see what are the importance of drying process in the post-harvest technology, post-harvest engineering. So first importance of drying process is that it minimizes microbial spoilage and chemical deteriorate reactions greatly, which provide safe storage facility for long time. Okay, this is the first advantage of drying process. It minimizes the microbial spoilage and chemical deteriorative reactions, which provides safe storage facility for the long time. Second advantage is it permits continuous supply of product throughout the year. Okay, so when you drying the any products, moisture will be removed out, then it is safe to store. So you can permit that product continuously all over the year. Also, the third advantage, it permit early harvest of the grain, of the crop, which reduces field damage and scattering losses. So if there is moisture in the grain and at that time you are harvesting the crop, then damage of the crop will be less and also there will be scattering losses will be uh, less. Okay. So this drying permits early harvest which reduces field damage and shattering losses. The fourth advantage, the other advantage is it permits the farmer to have better quality product. And also this drying makes product available during the off season. Okay. The other advantage is the reduced weight of dried products, decrease packaging, handling, and transportation cost. Okay, because when you dry, moisture will be removed out, then weight of that product will be less. Okay, so it will facilitate in uh, packaging, handling, and transportation cost. It will reduce the transportation cost because weight becomes less. The other advantage is most food products are dried for improved milling or mixing characteristics in further processing. The the milling and the mixing characteristics will improve by the drying. Also, it helps in preparing different food product development. So these are the importance of drying process.
हेलो सर।
Hmm.
सर एक बार शुरू से बता दीजिए मैं बेसिक से।
Yes.
बोले हैं सर शुरू से एक बार बता दीजिए सर बेसिक से।
Okay. Importance of drying process. The first importance is that it minimizes the microbial spoilage and chemical deteriorative reactions, which provide the safe storage facility for the long time. Okay. If there is a moisture inside the grain, then microbial activity will be more. And if you dry, then it will minimize the microbial activity. So if you can store that grain for the long time, okay, for all over the year. And if you store that product for all over the year, then when it needed, you can supply that product during all over the year. Okay, so it permits continuously supply of product throughout the year. Okay, also that this drying process permits the early harvest of the crops. Okay, what is the advantage of early harvest? If you harvest early, if you harvest the crop early, then it will reduce the field damage and scattering loss. Okay. So this drying, it permits the early harvest. Okay. Early harvest करके फिर उसको हम drying कर देंगे. It permits the farmer to have better quality product, and also the product is available during the off season because you can store that product, so that product you can take out in the market during the off season and you will get the more money. Okay. So that makes product available during off season. The reduced weight of dried products. How the weight of the dried product will be reduced? Because in the grain moisture is there. When you dry, the moisture will be moisture or water. The moisture or water will be evaporated. Okay. So when the moisture or water is evaporated, then its weight is reduced. If the weight of the product is reduced, then during the transportation, it will be easy. So cost of the transportation will be less, and also during the packaging, in the packaging, it is easy to package, and also during the handling of this product, it is also easy. Okay, so this reduced weight during the due to the drying, it will decrease the packaging, handling, and transportation cost. Okay, and also when you dry the product, then it will be very easy during the milling and mixing operation. Okay. So these are the advantages of this drying process. That's why we do drying of agricultural produce after the harvesting. Now you know in the drying what we do, we remove the moisture present in the grain. Okay, in the grain moisture is present. So during the drying process, what we do, you remove the moisture or water present in the grain. Okay, so how you can determine how much water is present in a particular grain? Because during the operation you need sometimes how much amount of water is present in soybean, how much amount of water present in wheat. So how you can represent that water, that moisture? So so the water content of agricultural product is given in terms of moisture content. Okay, so this moisture content, this is the percentage of water content present in the product. Water present in the product is known as moisture content. So it is designated by two methods. One is the wet basis moisture content, and second is the dry basis moisture content. This is very, very important. One is the wet basis moisture content, and other one is dry basis moisture content. Two types of moisture content is there. One is the wet basis, other one is the dry basis. Okay. Here, this is the some formula to calculate the moisture content, wet basis, or the dry basis moisture content. Okay. And also there is some relation between wet basis moisture content and dry basis moisture content. So first we will see how you can calculate the moisture content by wet basis. Okay. Here the moisture content by wet basis you can calculate by this equation, W minus D by W into 100, where W is the total weight of the grain. Okay, weight of the grain, total weight of the grain. So in that grain, some solid particle will be there as well as some water will be there. Okay, so in combined both. So that is the W. W means total weight of the grain. Okay, whereas D is the dry weight. Means when you remove the moisture, when you remove the water by the drying process, then after that the weight of the product is known as dry weight. Okay, so this is the dry weight of the product, dry weight of the grain, or this is the weight of the grain. Okay, total weight of the grain, and this is the dry weight. This is the weight of the grain after removal of moisture. And this is the weight of the grain including the moisture. Okay, so by the weight basis, the moisture content is calculated by this equation W minus D. W minus D, what it is? W means whole weight and D means dry weight. So uh, if you do minus in W minus D, then what is the this result? This is the weight of the water. Okay, ultimately this will give the weight of water. So weight of water divided by total weight of the grain is, and when you multiply by this by 100, then it will give the moisture content. ठीक है? Similarly, the dry basis moisture content MD, how you can calculate? Formula is same. W minus D means weight of moisture divided by here dry weight of the product. This is the moisture content dry basis. So at the denominator, the dry weight of the product will be there. In the weight basis moisture content, all are same, but only this is the weight or total weight of the product is there. Okay. So this is a very two important formula. We should note this one: weight basis moisture content and dry basis moisture content. How you can calculate these two things. Okay. Now there is some relation between the weight basis moisture content as well as and the dry basis moisture content. What are the relations? Here it is given. Weight basis moisture content you can calculate by this equation MD divided by 100 plus MD into 100. Okay. Similarly, the dry basis moisture content you can calculate by this equation MW divided by 100 into MW into 100. Okay. So the value of dry basis moisture content is more than the wet basis moisture content. It is always dry basis moisture content is more than the wet basis moisture content. Okay. So wet basis moisture content is generally used by the farmers at farm level. Generally, if nothing is mentioned, then you can assume that the moisture content is wet basis. Okay. Dry basis moisture content can be more than 100% sometimes during calculation. Okay. So these equations are important. You should understand these equations. This one, and this one. Okay. Wet basis moisture content, how you can calculate. Dry basis moisture content, how you can calculate. And what is the relationship between the dry basis moisture content and wet basis moisture content. Now, on the basis of this formula, here some question is there, numerical problem is there. The problem is that 500 kg of paddy at 22% moisture content at wet basis. WB means wet basis is dried to 14% moisture content at wet basis for milling. ओके, अब हमें पैडी का मिलिंग करना था, मिल में लेके जाना था, तो उसको ड्राई करेंगे पहले. तो इनिशियली द पैडी, the moisture content in the paddy was 22%, and after drying the moisture content present in the paddy is 14%. Okay, so you have to calculate the amount of moisture removed in the drying process. Okay. So initially the moisture content was 22%. After drying the moisture content is 14%. So how much water, how much moisture is removed during the drying process? You have to calculate. Yes, understood problem. Now, how you can calculate? The weight of the paddy is 500 kg. Initially, the 22% moisture is there in the paddy, and after drying, the uh, that 14% moisture content is there. So how much moisture is removed? So this is the solution. So first, amount of initial water content. Initially, how much water was present in the paddy? Okay, how you can calculate? The weight of the paddy is 500 kg. So in the 500 kg, what is there? In the 500 kg, the weight of dry paddy will be there, and also in this 500 kg, some amount of moisture will also be there. So weight of dry paddy as well as weight of moisture is 500 kg. Okay, so here how you can calculate amount of initial moisture content? 500 में कितना है? How much? 22%. Okay, so 500 का 22%. It is coming 110 kg. Okay, so in 500 kg of paddy, the water present is 110 kg, and the remaining amount, that is the 500 minus 110, means 390 kg is dry matter in the paddy. Okay, so in the 500 kg, dry matter is 390 kg and the water is 110 kg. Okay, so when you dry this paddy, then this weight will be reduced. This weight will be not reduced. This is the dry matter. This weight, 1 kg of water will be reduced due to the evaporation, due to the drying. Okay. Now, after the drying, what is the moisture content? 14% moisture content. Okay. So final moisture content is 14%. In the fraction, you can say 0.14. Okay. So what is the formula to calculate the moisture content by weight basis? Because it is the weight basis. 14% is weight basis. So what is the formula to calculate the weight basis moisture content? Here you can see this is the weight basis moisture content, W minus D. W minus D is nothing but this is the weight of water. W is the total weight of the grain D is the dry matter. So uh, 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 if you do minus from the total weight minus dry weight, then weight of the water you can calculate. So this is the weight of water divided by total weight of the grain. Okay, so here it is written. This is the weight basis moisture content, that is the 14%, or you can write 0.14. Okay, and weight of the water. Okay, divided by total weight of the grain. In the total weight of the grain, what is there? Weight of the water plus weight of dry matter. Okay, now it is weight of water. Weight of water you have to calculate, because you don't know what is the amount of water present in the grain after the drying. Okay, after the drying you don't know how much amount of water is present. That amount of water you have to calculate. So this is the W is the weight of the water, and in the denominator weight of the water, yes, this one. And dry matter, you know, it is the 390 kg. So 390 kg. So by simple calculation you can calculate weight of the water after the drying. It is coming 63.488 kg of water is present in the grain after the drying. Okay, so after the drying, how much water is present in the grain? 63.488 kg. And initially, how much water was present? It is 110 kg. Okay, so initially means when the 22% moisture content was there, then weight of the water in the grain was 110 kg. And after the drying, how much water is present in the grain when the moisture content is 14%? So at this point, the water present in the grain is 63.488 kg. Okay. So initially, water was 110 kg. After drying, 63.488 kg. So how much amount of water is removed? So if you uh, do minus 110 minus 63.488, then you will get this one. So this amount of water is removed during the drying process. Okay, so here you can see in the drying process, not all over the water is removed. Here in this example, you can also see the initially before the drying, how much amount of water was present? 110 kg. And after the drying, the water is also present, but it is less. It is at predetermined level. That is the 63.488 kg. Okay. So in the drying, the total amount of moisture is not removed. But in the dehydration, the almost all moisture is removed. Okay. So this problem is based on the dry weight moisture content as well as the weight basis moisture content. Okay. So this point this is again I am repeating, this equation is very, very important for agricultural engineers people. This equation is very, very important in every exam, in every competition which are for agricultural engineers. It is important. Now we will see the determination of moisture content. How you can determine the moisture content. So in the soil science, you can also study about all these things, determination of moisture content. So similarly for the grain is also this moisture content is determined. So moisture content is determined mainly by two methods. One
I
is the
want like
direct method and other one is indirect method. Okay, there are two
hello sir.
methods. Yes, there are two methods of determination of moisture content. First one is direct methods. This is also called as the primary method, and second one is indirect method. Okay. So direct method means we directly, if you want to calculate the moisture content of any grain, then directly you can get the moisture content. But in the indirectly method, first by some third party instrument we can calculate the moisture content, and after that, during the calibration, the moisture content is determined. Okay, to the indirect method. So the accuracy of moisture content determination by direct method is high. Hence, these methods are used by the research workers. Okay. The moisture content values obtained by direct methods are used to calibrate all the indirect type moisture measuring device. The direct method of moisture determination are time consuming. Therefore, such methods are not very much useful for determination of moisture in the field, mandi, or warehouses. Okay. So in the field, mandi, or warehouses, we generally prefer the indirect methods of moisture measurement. Indirect methods are faster and mostly employ the electrical properties of the grain. Okay. Indirect method is not so much accurate, but yes, it is okay. Direct methods are uh, having high accuracy, so that's why direct methods are generally used in the research process. And also the direct methods are time consuming. That's why this type of direct methods measurement are not used in the field, mandi, and warehouses. Now, what are the different? These are the two methods of moisture measurement of the grain. First one is the direct measurement, and second one is indirect measurement. Okay. So under the direct measurement, what we do, the water content is determined by removing the moisture due to the some heat, or due to the some vacuum, or due to the some infrared, or due to the some distillation method. Okay, we remove the moisture, and after that we measure the how much uh, loss, how much weight loss is there. Okay, so this is the method of direct measurements. So what are the different methods under the direct measurements? First is the air oven drying. Second is the vacuum oven drying. Third one is the infrared method, and fourth one is distillation method. Okay, so these are the direct measurement method. Now, in the indirect measurement method, so here in the indirect measurement, an intermediate variable is measured first, and then that variable is converted into the moisture content. Okay, so building up calibration charts before the applying indirect measurement is prerequisite. So when we do the indirect measurement, then we have to do calibration in our machine. Okay, and how you can calibrate? By the direct measurement method. So under the indirect measurement, what are the different instruments? Electrical resistant method, dielectric methods, and chemical methods. So these are the three instruments which are used to calculate the moisture content of the grain indirectly. Now, first is the direct method of measurement, and the first method is air oven method. Here in this picture, you can see this is the air oven method. So this type of method is applied when moisture content of grain is up to 13%. Here, the samples are heated at 130 degrees centigrade for 1 to 2 hours in oven till constant weight gain. Afterward, that dried sample are placed in desiccator to cool down. And after that, the drop in weight of the grain is measured because some water is evaporated. So obviously, the weight of the grain will be reduced. So how much weight is reduced? You have to measure. Okay, and after that, you can calculate by the formula to moisture content present in the grain. So here, time and temperature are variable factor according to the type of the grain. So this is the first method of direct measurement, air oven method. Second is vacuum oven drying. So in the vacuum oven drying, the vacuum facilitates the drying process at lower temperature. For fruit and vegetables, where heat sensitivity is problem, vacuum is applied in the oven to decrease the boiling point of the moisture. The product temperature generally varies in vacuum oven between 60 to 70 degrees centigrade, and vacuum is maintained at pressure less than 450 mm of Hg. Okay. So this is the vacuum oven drying method. Other method of direct measurements are infrared method. Here the picture of infrared instrument is there. So here the moisture is directly measured by evaporation of water from the sample. This instrument consists of a balance, a pan counter balanced by fixed weight, and a variable length of weighting chain. Infrared lamp is mounted on an arm above the pan. Lamp produces the heat which evaporates the moisture from the sample, and direct moisture content of the sample is shown on the instrument. Okay, so this is the infrared method of moisture content. Other one is the distillation method, Brown Duvel fractional distillation method. So in this method, 100-gram whole grain along with 150 ml of mineral oil is taken in a flask, and sample is boiled. Evaporated moisture, when you boil, the evaporation will be there, so that evaporated moisture is collected in graduated flask. Okay. So milliliter of moisture shows the percentage of moisture content. Okay. Now the other methods which are used to calculate the moisture content is indirect methods. Under the indirect methods, first one is electrical resistant method. So the electrical resistance or conductivity of the product depends upon its moisture content. There is a relationship between electrical resistance or conductivity and the grain. So this principle is used in resistant measuring devices. The moisture meter measures the electrical resistance of the material, and it is calibrated against moisture determination from oven or other primary methods. So the universal moisture meter gives fairly accurate reading of moisture content on wet basis. Other methods are dielectric methods. So such device measure the dielectric constant of the grain. What is the dielectric constant? This is a quantity measuring the ability of a substance to store electrical energy in an electrical field. So grains are filled in chamber. The sides of the chamber are formed by the plates of a condenser between which a high frequency current is passed to measure capacitance of the sample. So this capacitance varies as per the water present in the sample, the degree of compaction, and grain temperature.